Your people will rebuild the ancient ruins and will raise up the age-old foundations. You will be called repairer of broken walls, restorer of streets with dwellings. Isaiah 58:12, NIV. Welcome to Outreach Connection, focusing on topics and issues that reach our communities with the love and power of Jesus Christ.
And welcome again, my friends, to another exciting episode of the Outreach Connection. I'm Dr. Pepper, shaking the salt. Today with me, I have someone who is following exactly what God said to do. Be not just a hearer of the word, but be a doer. You hear people in the secular world saying, well, put your money where your mouth is. Well, does he practice what he preaches? Does he live the example? And to think that the Apostle Paul said, follow Christ as I follow him. Imitate me. Would people ever say that about you? Would they ever say, I want to imitate you. I want the Christian faith that you have. If they do, say there's only one way. It's not me. It's Christ in me that you want. And this lady exudes Christ. She works for Christ. She gives of herself, her time, her effort, and her livelihood. And she just told me off camera that she keeps being drawn back to the nonprofit world, to helping those that need help. What a great desire. Joanne Dedert, and she is the executive director, is that the way you say it?
There you go.
Madonna House.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So first of all, I always love to hear about the background and the woman behind the story, but she also has a great story of what she's doing right now. So we're going to start with that, because this is where you come in. We want your help with this. Tell them what you're doing.
Well, right now I am the interim director at the Madonna House, and we have a desperate need for food for a food pantry. We have a couple of campaigns going on with that. One of them we want to talk about today is from the first part of July, we had a person in this area who did the bike campaign, who you maybe have heard about this over the news. And as he does this biking around, he matches your checks that you might want to send to the Madonna House, and you can put down in the memo section of your check the word bike. He matches those checks, and therefore we can go through the food bank and we can buy food for pennies on the dollar, that we can get more food for the folks in need.
I was just thinking too that if he's going to match that, if you give $5, you're really giving $10.
Absolutely.
So there, we got to keep that in mind too.
Absolutely. And this need is just getting stronger every day with the economic conditions the way they are. With this drought, we've all heard about what's happening there. The cost of food is going up, and we continue to get new people coming in. If I can just share a story with you.
Please do. That would help them to understand.
You know,
too.
Earlier this is 1st of August, so last month in July, we had a family, a husband and wife came in. And I get goosebumps as I'm talking about this. And she came in with her sack of some groceries that she wanted to share with our food pantry. And she teared up as we were talking with her. And she says, you know, at the end of the month, I've got these big things that's coming on. But God sent me here today to share with the food pantry. She says, I may be in the line at the end of the month, the first part of August, and we shared with her, we're here. We're here. Our food pantry is open twice a week. On Tuesdays in the afternoon from 1 to 3, and then we're open again on Saturdays from 10 to 12 to open up the doors. And we don't check anything. All we need is just give us an address. You can come both times if you need both food for both times. And we want to make sure the community's needs are met.
Yes.
So when you think about the number of folks that we can serve, it takes a lot of food. We go through a lot of food very quickly. So we're very proud to be able to help those communities out. And we can certainly say that we have not been abused, because we monitor that with folks that come in, and folks don't come in unless they really need that food.
And you know, it takes kind of a humbling of the heart to even come in, even if you're getting food for your children.
Absolutely.
So if anybody out there is in need, and this is something,
please come see us.
Please do.
And again, we did have a family for the first time who came this summer. They were literally in tears. They were embarrassed.
Yeah.
And we shared with them, we're here to help them.
Right.
And they wanted to come back when they can get back on their feet and pay back and give back food.
Isn't it
And
great?
so, you know, if they can, that's fine. But we're here to help those families.
Absolutely.
And we want to extend that gift, because again, we've all been in a situation that maybe we need that little extra boost, and we're very proud to say that we can do that. We also have a diaper pantry, we have a clothing closet, so we're there to help. We just need your help out there in the community. If you can help us by sending your check to the Madonna House, make it out to the Madonna House in that memo section right by, because then we can get more bang for our dollars.
That's great. That is great. And if they want to, they can go out and do their own shopping and bring in many, many items. And wouldn't that be a great example for your children if you would say, you know, we don't have a lot, and I know I couldn't get you that new iPad or whatever it was you wanted, but there are people that don't have food, and we're going to take some to those people today.
Absolutely. 5 items. I mean, you know, you bring in 5, bring in 1 item. We don't care. It all comes together.
Tell us what not to bring, things that are perishable.
Perishable items. We can't deal with that. We did have, from the food bank, we did get a supply of some fresh sweet corn. But again, that's very minimal because it spoils so quickly. And we do have a wonderful person who brings in excess tomatoes every once in a while. But that is very limited because, again, you have to dispose of that very quickly. But those items of canned goods, paper products, think about what you use there in your own home. Paper towels, napkins, all of those kind of things are so needed.
Feminine products.
Feminine products, toilet paper, any of those items. Canned meats, vegetables, fruits, pastas.
That's great.
Anything, any of your packaged meals, your hamburger helpers, any of those kind of things.
And these aren't people that, you know, when you see a beggar on the street that says, we'll work for food, and then you stop and you say, I've got a job that needs to be done. Get on in and I'll take you. Oh, no, I need some money.
Right.
You know, so you scan that. You're the one that you screen the people that come in.
Yes, that is correct. And then also we get bread products. Again, we have some merchants here who donate some food to us through the breads. And again, it's very sad to say, but we know that they get bread. And sometimes here about a month ago, we had some milk given to us. And they were just in tears because a gallon of milk, it was like gold. I mean, go to the store, look what you pay for milk.
Right.
And when you're on a very limited budget. And again, we knew that, I'm thinking about one family that came through, they got a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk. We knew that was their breakfast. You know, that was what they were going to be living off of outside of their sack of food that they had. And it rips your heart.
Sure it does.
And I feel so blessed to be able to be there and be a part of that.
And it must hurt your heart when you can't give, when there's not enough food for the people, and you start to panic and think,
where's it coming?
Yeah,
but
so
again,
you feel theirs.
But again, God does provide.
He does.
Because when we look, and it was one of our staff there at the Madonna House went on vacation, was gone for a week, and she came back, was going to get ready for our food pantry. She comes back up, she goes, what happened to our food? It's getting so sparse. And so again, bingo, here it comes. You know, when you least expect, God does provide for us. And here comes someone unexpectedly in with a nice big donation of some food. And again, we have folks out there like Vacation Bible Schools. We had a local Bible school group that collected food, and they came in with those food items. Very proud to be able to help. And it doesn't matter what your organization is. You know, there's a lot of civic organization. There's a lot of, with kids going back into the schools.
Absolutely.
You know, they can all help. That one can makes a big difference.
If there's anybody that has any connections with the schools right now, public or private or anything, the kids love to raise funds for things, and they're good. And you've seen what they do with Girl Scout cookies and things like that.
Absolutely.
So how about for cans of food right before Halloween? They're going to go out. Instead, go out and collect and give.
Absolutely. And, you know, look at what you're instilling in that child's life. They understand that giving back.
I love that.
I do too.
Well, I love to hear the story behind you as well. So we've been putting the information on the screen where folks can write or call.
Absolutely.
And the website. But tell us, how you personally have such a heart for people in need. Did you ever go through that yourself?
Well, actually, yes. You know, back in the 70s, I mean, I can remember very specifically, I was working, and at that time was not making that much money, and my husband was laid off, and so it was very tight at our house, and I can remember budgeting and going through that checkout line, and you think, how am I going to make that last all week? And I always said, I thought then, and my husband and I talked about, if it ever gets better at our household, I want to be able to give back.
Yes.
Here I am.
There
you know,
you are.
I love to give back, and there's nothing more special in my life than to be able to help a child. You help a child, and a child can be of any age.
Yes.
As you and I chatted again offline, you know, I don't ever want to grow up. I'm still a child at heart. And so be able to giving back, it just means a lot.
Isn't it just so, I mean, and to do it, to know that this is your work.
Absolutely.
That God has entrusted you. And some of you may want to volunteer. Some of you may want to not only come down and help sort the food, but I don't know, do you make phone calls? Do you send out any mailings or anything?
Oh, absolutely. We have some wonderful volunteers now, and we are always looking for more volunteers.
Good.
So if you have some free time that you would like to give to someone, give me a call there at the Madonna House, 224-7771, and I would love to get something lined up with you. What is your passion, and finding out what your skills and abilities are. And you can imagine right now I'm really looking for someone who is what I'm going to call a little handyman around, because we can't afford to have a maintenance person, and yet there's these little odds and end jobs that need to be done. You can imagine your own house. And when you have a homeless shelter, you know, we get a lot of usage into there, and you know, I've got a list about a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that's just about 3/4 full of things that need to be done.
Something that doesn't require a lot of training, but if you can do a hammer and a nail, and if you can bolt things up and down, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they're no difficult task, but that's not my expertise.
Well, we need some retirees out there,
and maybe wonderful.
There even may be some handy women out there too. So if you ladies have one of those little pink tool belts and you're pretty handy with the hammer and the nails, and you know, I'm thinking too, ladies, some of you want to get your husband out of the house. He's just retired. He's sitting around. Tell him you've got a place for him, and he'll be doing good and getting some blessings on the side.
Absolutely, and it is a feel good, and it's so appreciative.
Yes,
so appreciative.
Yes, that's great. I want to hear your story now. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up just Hancock County, just the next county over, and went to school, went into work, got married. My husband
right out of high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
And got married. And my husband went overseas. He was in Vietnam, and worked during that time. Came home again, and when he came home, then when we had our first child, and again continued to work. And I always had that inkling. I always wanted to go back to school, and never had the opportunity at that point in time. And so about the time that our daughter was about 7, 8 years old, I started going back here at John Wood, a class at a time. And long story short, I graduated from Sangamon State, now U of I at Springfield, with a master's degree in nonprofit financial management.
I love it.
And I love it. I love it. It's a wonderful time, and again, it's a time that our family became even closer, because again, if I would be up late studying, I'd be at work. I'd work 40 to 50 hours while I was doing this, and my husband would drive me over to Springfield some days, and we had some time that we could talk.
Interesting.
And he'd go do whatever he would do over at Springfield, and then drive back, and I could sleep or study or do whatever we needed to do. So it was an awesome time.
Amazing.
And again, God puts us where we need to be when we need to be there. I'm a firm believer in that one.
Yes.
And so then certainly worked in the nonprofit world, and what was so cool was I was able to come home out of that classroom and implement immediately what works, and then be able to tweak that and go back to the classroom and saying, hey, here's what I've done. And so it was a win-win for all folks.
Yes.
And again, I've just got that firm heart that says, you know, God puts me where I needed to be, and there was a reason. And when the position, the current executive director resigned, and as a board member, we kind of looked at some things, and I kept having that pull, as I call that. And finally, I shared with the board that I would step into this and to kind of help us to get some things that we wanted to do as a board kind of put together, and then see where is the direction that we really need to be going in. The Madonna House is bursting at the seams.
So you were already on the board?
I'd been on the board for yes. I was on a volunteer board there. I've probably been on there, I'd say, maybe 5 years. Time goes in a hurry.
So who better to put into the position than you?
I was there as the treasurer now, and just kind of stepped into that role.
Wow.
And we're just bursting at the seams right now. We're full.
Wow.
All of our rooms are full. We've got a waiting list.
Now tell them what you mean by rooms.
We are a homeless shelter for women and their children, and we have 5 rooms. And we have a huge waiting list. And the sad part about it, even if we have a room open, we still may have to put someone on that waiting list because of the size of the room. Say, for an example, if we have a mother with 2 children, we have 1 room that will accommodate that. And we have smaller rooms, maybe a mom with an infant, and that's a smaller room. But we are looking for a place, and again, if you have a heart and would like to put into, I'm going to call it a capital campaign, because we're wanting to move into a bigger facility so we can accommodate more folks.
Great. That is great.
That is our long-range plan, and we would hope to be able to do that in a couple of years.
Excellent.
While we're looking at that, we was funded through a grant that we are not able to serve handicapped folks. Our bedrooms are all on the 2nd floor of our home. So we were able to obtain a grant, and when I finish here in the next day or so, we'll begin to work with an architect with the current building to add a bedroom downstairs.
Oh, how wonderful.
Put a ramp out back. Make our bathroom more handicapped accessible. And again, the grant doesn't fully fund that, so we have to raise the dollars for some additional fundings there. But we want to be able to serve that population, and that'll give us an extra bedroom.
That's great.
So we can serve. If there is not a handicapped person, we can put another person in there. But again, a handicap will be a priority in that world. So that need is great. And this time of the year, being the fall, school's going to be starting, we're going to see more of a need. So, you know, if I had 5 more rooms, I'd fill them. That's no doubt, unfortunately. But I don't have. So we do the best that we can. And we get that stability in their lives, and to be able to see the success. We've had some wonderful success stories over the last few months. And you're not successful with everybody, but who is? But when we get those wonderful success stories and be able to plant seeds.
Now, can you minister as well as the food and the rooms and the clothing?
Yes, yeah, we can do those things when they ask for that, in that avenue of that, absolutely.
I didn't know if you were affiliated with any place of worship or
we
any chapels.
We are not, but again, if they ask us about that, then we can certainly, that opens our door.
Yes,
that we can talk with them.
Good.
Absolutely.
Even take them to church on a Sunday, perhaps.
Yes,
good.
Absolutely. We could certainly do that sort of thing if they was inclined to do that.
Right. And I know having credentials too, having, you know, not only a bachelor but a master's degree, it doesn't make us any special person, but it opens doors.
Absolutely.
And when you write a grant and you've got the credentials behind it, or when you are in a position and you can say that's behind it. I wouldn't be able to go in and speak in schools if I, you know, hadn't gone on ahead and trained in teaching teachers.
Correct.
So tell us, from the bottom, I remember in college I cleaned motel rooms to help put myself through, and I'm just thinking you probably need someone, maybe somebody out there that cleans homes for a living could tithe a couple of your hours. If you can't give money, come and give a couple of hours to help clean and fix.
There's all kinds of things that you can do. You know, when we say, you know, we need your help, yes, we need food, yes, we can always use the dollars, but we need you.
Yes.
You know, there's all kinds of things that you can do for us. And again, maybe your circumstances are saying, hey, I can't give right now money-wise, but I'm connected with this group or that group, and together, look what again, I can only do so much. We can do
That's great.
an awful lot.
That is great.
So you can decide what it is. We have, now the school's starting up, we have fraternity groups that come in and want to do something for us.
Good.
They may have fundraisers. They may come in and say, hey, you got a project for us. Because they need to do so many hours of community services. So, of course, we work with those things.
There comes your handyman.
Absolutely.
How do you get the word out to groups like that, like the Girl Scouts or the sororities and fraternities?
We do a lot. I do a lot of networking out, and a lot of them will just have been doing this for a number of years. They keep coming back. They keep calling, and we just get the word out. You know, I'm in Joannes Club, so there you touch a lot of lives there, and so we just want to make sure we just continue to network.
Good. Do you have brochures or anything that people can
We
do
do
to help?
have.
Okay.
We do have. If you want one mailed to you, you want to stop by.
Oh, good.
That's wonderful. And again, think about the factor. It's getting to be fall of the year. We all collect things throughout the summer, and as you maybe are changing some things in your home for the fall. As you go through those closets, as you go through those pantries, for an example, this week we had a mom who says, you know what, my infant is now out of formula, and we don't need this formula anymore. And she calls up and says, hey, can you use? Of course we can use. So again, I'm using that for an example. So if there's clothing items that you can use, we're limited because we've got a small clothing closet. We get a bigger facility, we want to expand that.
Right.
So there's all kinds of things that you can use. You know, again, if you get maybe new pots and pans.
Yes.
We'd love to have your old pots and pans.
Yes. And you know, a lot of people think of Goodwill or a place, you know, that they just say, well, I'm going to give this. And when you're sorting and doing your autumn work with your kids too, or grandchildren, start piles. This is some, I don't really need this, and I know that Madonna House could use this. I don't really need this. I know I could go into my cabinet right now and find a lot of cans of food that I bought that now that I'm on Weight Watchers again that I just can't eat. And some people need them, so bring and give, and you'll feel so good about it. They can come and see the Madonna House.
Absolutely. We love to give tours. We do that a lot because we're very proud of what we've got, and we're very proud of the services. And when we're talking about why we're cleaning out, if your children are older and maybe there's some of the younger books that they've got, we'd love to have that. And again, if we have any nanas, grandmas, anybody, or grandpas or papas or whatever you might be called, who have some time and they love to snuggle. Maybe your children are on the East Coast, West Coast. We have children that would love to be read to, and wouldn't that be a good feel?
Yes.
I would love to have those folks coming in, and that's a program that we're wanting to get started this fall.
That's
to get some volunteer folks after school that, or Saturdays, evenings, whatever, that can come in and to read to some of our children.
I love that.
I do too. There's nothing special.
There are people out there that just hits your heart too.
Absolutely, because I know my grandchildren, I had the opportunity.
What ages are they?
They're 7 and 4.
Okay.
And the 4-year-old stayed with me last night while Papa took the 7-year-old and her mom and dad out to the last night of our Adams County Fair. And we got to snuggle and we read 3 books last night, and I guess I bored him to death because he went to sleep. Was not the intent, but that special time, it's wonderful. And besides that, look what they learn. I know my grandchildren have got a huge library themselves, and they love their books. So I know children love books.
Absolutely, and I'm thinking too, there may be some, like you said, where the kids or the grandchildren are even out of state, out of drivable distance, but you can drive right down to the Madonna House and you can have a surrogate grandchild. Maybe you don't have a grandchild, maybe you don't have a child.
Exactly.
And you'd love to just give and to give a part of your heart.
Sure.
That's awesome. Food, clothing, anything. And the reason that we don't feel guilty begging for this is because we know about the little boy with the fishes and the loaves, and we know that Jesus said, as you have done it unto them, the least of them, you've done it unto me.
Absolutely.
How did you get a heart for nonprofit organizations?
I have always, through my church growing up as a little girl, we always were connected with a couple of residential treatment centers that we helped them out. And I always had the heart. Sometimes they would come in and talk to us. And I can remember as a little girl that just struck me, and it grabbed me then, and thinking, because at that time, I thought that everybody had a mom and a dad and a family,
Right.
the whole bit. What I learned very quickly is that's not the case.
That's right.
And so again, I felt very blessed. And how do I get back? How do I help that little girl, that little boy? And I just decided that's something that I want to do. I want to give back.
That's good. And you're doing that.
I want to give back.
And let me mention, too, that Joanne is available for speaking at your events, just like she said, at Kiwanis. She could come to Rotary. She could come to the DAR meetings, the women's meetings, the church club circles, and she could just talk about Madonna House and show pictures. Maybe you have a PowerPoint or slides.
Absolutely.
And that would just be a wonderful program, and somebody from that group, just by the numbers, would probably come forward and give or do or help or whatever.
Absolutely.
And what a great way to be a liaison into the community. We talk about the outreach connection. This is it.
This is it.
Help. We're struggling. Help.
You betcha. And I just came to my mind, Dr. Pepper, about the fact that you was a retired teacher.
Yes.
We may have some retired teachers out
Yes.
there, male or female. Again, our students will be going to school. Our children there at the Madonna House will be going to school very shortly, and I'm sure that they could use an extra hour of help with their
Tutoring.
reading, with their math, with their whatever their subject is.
Right.
So if you'd like to come in and do a time with that child, give them a little tutoring. That would be
great.
awesome.
Wouldn't it be?
That'd just be wonderful.
And fulfilling personally
Oh,
as
you
well.
bet.
Yeah.
You betcha.
So what are the ages you have now of the children that are currently in the shelter?
Right now we have about a year and a half up to one that last week just turned a teenager.
Oh, 13.
13.
Wow.
She loved being 13, but she wasn't sure she liked all the responsibility.
No, yeah.
And doesn't that sound typical?
I love it. Well, what school do they attend?
They will be going. They'll be going to junior high at 13. She'll be going to junior high. And then we have some that's going to be going to Madison. And one's going to different schools, depending on what their needs are.
I didn't know if it was according to your district or where you were. Okay, good. Wow, what a plethora of possibilities.
Absolutely.
And I want you to know, too, that Joanne would love to speak to your groups, not just about the Madonna House, but she is great with the credentials, the ability to talk about growing your business, starting a business, small business. If you are a small business, even having nothing to do with this, you could be a profit organization. That's what Joanne is a specialist in. She has her master's in that, and she would love to. You do this consulting on the side too, and this is for the profit organizations. She could help you write a grant, and that would cover expenses for you. And just the sky's the limit.
Correct.
There's no limit what God can do.
That's right.
So here it is again, the Imaginary Bazaar campaign, Biking for Food. We have a $500 matching opportunity for you. So if you give $5, it's like giving 10. If you give 20, it's like giving 40. If you can give food, if you can give clothing, did we leave anything out that we didn't mention?
No. If you want to come see us, just give us a call. We'd love to give you a tour that you can see for yourself.
And tell them where you're located.
We are located at 405 South 12th here in Quincy, Illinois.
And there is room right now for another add-on, another facility build on?
Yes, we are going to be in, like I said, we're in the process through our grant, but again, the grant is not covering everything, so I've got to fundraise to help to cover the rest of the cost. To put another bedroom on and do a little bit of remodeling there at the Madonna House to handicap accessibilize us while we are in the process of looking in the future here for a larger place, because the need's only going to grow as we all know what the world's like today, and we want to be able to give that person with their child a little extra break, that they can get that stability back in their life, get some of those special skills that they need, that they can go out and carry on those household duties that maybe you and I take for granted.
That's right. And God bless you, Joanne, for all that you do. And folks out there, this is your opportunity. Make a call, go by, come give, whatever you need, and send somebody that maybe you know that is a good worker, a good helper, and they will hear the gospel message and see that when Jesus said, if you've done it to the least of these, you've done it as unto me. So God bless you, Joanne. Thanks for being with me. And I'm Dr. Pepper, Shaking the Salt. We'll see you next time again on The Outreach Connection.
You've been watching Outreach Connection. If you would like to contact this ministry, you may write Outreach Connection, care of CTN, WTJR, 222 North 6th Street, Quincy, Illinois, 62301.
Hello, I'm Pastor Randy Diggin of Bible Baptist Church in Jefferson City, Missouri. And I have a prescription for you. Prescription? Yes, prescriptions make the news a lot. Actually, it's from the Bible. The Bible says a merry heart doeth good like medicine. Are you feeling down? I got some good news for you today. Find something to laugh at, find something to laugh with, and get some medicine. God bless.